don't have coffee often, but when I do, I make sure that it's prepared with the best methods, that it's grown with the highest quality, that it's cared for from every step, all the way from the ground, from the earth, the selection of the plants, the selection of the beans, through the process of fermentation, the process of toasting, which I prefer a much lighter toast, maintain the delicate aromas, all the way to the preparation methods. One of the reasons why I really love coffee, even though I don't drink it very often, because it is a roller coaster, energetically speaking. I'm getting a lot of cherry and it smells like almost like bourbon barrels, or like some toasted wood, burnt marshmallows. A little bit of strawberries, actually some like light red, delicate red fruits. Definitely more red fruit driven, more earthy. Ooh. I love a good cup of coffee in this preparation method because it makes me want to appreciate every moment and treat it like a meditation. Like I can feel the sensations of the warmth of the cup on my hand, smell the aromas, feel all the sensations in my mouth when I take that first sip. The mouthfeel is like very rich. It's decently bitter without being overly bitter. It's definitely got a stronger toast, so it's got more of those toasty, chocolatey, caramelly flavors. And the acidity keeps it nice and balanced. I don't feel weighed down by the coffee, and it's also not super light and bright. Yeah, I like this cup of coffee is really nice. I almost feel like I want to have a little something to eat with it. Like it's got enough body, intensity, structure that I want to put it with some food. Could be some nuts, could be some dried fruits, could be even like a small piece of cake or something like that. Absolutely would be great with some food. Let's see what their menu has here in a second. Now the interesting thing is, like caffeine from the coffee doesn't really hit you until about 15 minutes afterwards. The funny thing is that so many of us have an anchor programmed in that anchors the sensation of drinking coffee, the aromas, the smells, even just being around it, being prepared. That will cause us to feel like we're more energized and more awake, even though we technically have not even consumed the caffeine, and it takes at least 15 minutes to get into the body and actually start having an effect on the nervous system. So it's nice to pay attention to how I'm feeling. I walked in here feeling a little overwhelmed because of all the traffic and the noise and the contamination outside, and now I'm feeling more present, but I'm starting to feel a little bit more uplifted, a little more alert. Probably just the presence that I have, like being fully present in the experience. Now that it's cooled down a little bit, I'm definitely getting almost a bit more, I'm getting like s'mores. Yeah, like graham cracker, toasted marshmallow, chocolate. Totally. Wow. It's a cool thing that a cup of coffee, an extraction of the beans of a plant, can evoke a memory of sitting around a campfire and eating s'mores. there it is. Feel a little bit of like a light buzziness happening. About 5 minutes in. It's interesting. The logo for the shop is Pisces. I think we just entered the North Node, entered into Pisces right now. About connecting with emotions. Swimming like the fish. So I'm already noticing like my perception changing. I'm feeling a little bit more open, a little bit more observant, but kind of in this hunting, like, it's very foveal vision, it's very focused vision, it's not peripheral vision, it's not open. I'm not like if I were drinking kava, for example, Hawaiian kava or Tahitian kava, I would probably feel much more peripheral, much more just like receptive and absorbent, whereas right now I feel like I want to look at all the things. Very curious, like my curiosity is peaking, which is funny. And there's also a lot of interesting stuff to look at in this cafe. Noticing my thought pattern changing a bit. Starting to feel a little bit more mental, a little bit more stimulated, a little more logical. Even noticing the tone of my voice is a little bit different. Yeah, I feel a bit more sensitive to movement and sound. There's an extractor fan that's playing with the shadows. I'm going to show you this real quick. Over here on the floor, you can see it playing with the shadows, and like that's got my attention. That's there. All the light from the cars coming through the windows as they drive by, the motorcycles and all the traffic, like what's happening in the kitchen, what's happening over here. All these aspects of movement and sound that are bringing my attention. Super curious. Smoothing out now as it's a little bit cooler. I feel like my energy is much higher in my body right now. Like it's up. It feels like it's up in the higher chakras, up in the higher energy centers. More mental, as I said. Which makes sense. I mean, coffee, I just think about when coffee first started becoming really popular in Europe, in the cafes and salons. It was there for discussion, for conversation, to stimulate dialogue, to stimulate, it's a very logical, rational time too, if you think about it. You know, Europe, coffee movement and the salon movement in Europe was 1700s. I don't know, I might not have my dates right, 1700s, maybe even later. And that was this, we're talking about the time of the Renaissance, the logical, rational mind, the very like Cartesian logic, very scientific movements. So we had a lot more of this focusing on the masculine aspects of thinking, logic, reason, contemplation, which is interesting because coffee, I mean, has evolved so much, and also it's become this tool of capitalism, whereas like people work harder, work longer, work all hours of the day and night because they have access to caffeine. Keeps the system moving. It's like the lubricant of the capitalistic system. And I mean, alcohol was also kind of like the counterpart to that, where people would get super stimulated and almost overworked, over fatigued in their adrenal system and such, and then they would hit alcohol to kind of come down at the end of the day, bring down, numb out the emotions, soften the anger or the frustration that would come after a long day of work. And so you have this combination of alcohol and caffeine that would work together, and then, you know, throw some cigarettes in there for, you know, why not? Nicotine is definitely one of those drugs as well. But you have the dance of those drugs, and now we're starting to see that the younger generations, the millennials, the Gen Zs, are realizing that there's more than just coffee, that there's a lot more non-alcoholic bars that are coming out, places where you can hang out and enjoy company with a cava, with kratom, but I don't like kratom. It's too much of an opiate. It's too much of there's an addictive quality to it that I don't like at all. It's too, if that makes sense for you. But we have, the culture is shifting. We're starting to see more consumption of quality teas, higher quality coffee, rather than just like slamming down a cup and going to work, or drinking your latte on the way to work. Less alcohol consumption, more cannabis consumption. I'm not crazy about that, but that's another topic for another day. Yeah, as our consciousness shifts, it shifts the plants that we consume, and it also shifts with the plants that consume us, that use us to be consumed. There's a really good book. Oh God, what is the name of it? Michael Pollan writes a really good book. Can't think of the title, but it will come to me, I'm sure. Botany of Desire. And he talks about how there's these different plants, and I think it's cannabis, coffee, apples are the three plants, or the three, the three plants that he utilizes to understand the relationship between humans and agriculture, and how the plants shape us and we shape the plants. How we cultivate the plants, but is it the plants that are actually cultivating us, right? Are they more intelligent? They've got us to do all the work because they can't move. They stay in one fixed place. We plant their seeds. We work with them. We modify them, or we, whether artificially or naturally through processes of breeding. But we do it because we want to feel a certain way. Think about the THC content in marijuana plants, or the caffeine content in coffee. And I think he also talked about apples because we use them to make cider, especially in the United States, to get drunk. Intoxication, same thing with wine, grapes, or whatever. And it's interesting how we have these relationships, because humans want to feel something different. They want to change their state. Right? Like, I'm here because I wanted to have an experience, and also, the state change is nice. I'm not crazy about coffee because of the roller coaster that it kind of puts me on. However, we humans are fascinated, obsessed with state changes, and I believe part of that is because we have lost touch with how to create those state changes on our own, through our mind, our thoughts, our emotions, our breathing, our movement, our physical movement, our body. And we can do so much without using the chemical substances. But think about the world that we've been living in, where the modern medical system is all about objective physical reality. It's all about the chemicals and the chemical changes, even though the chemical changes oftentimes are poisoning us or causing deeper disease, crazier problems, more complexities, and ultimately feeds into this system of disease and not the system of health and wellness. And you can heal your body with your mind. You can heal your body with your spirit. That's the work that I do with my clients, with the people that are ready to make these transformations and are tired of going through these processes of rehab and drug dependency and addiction and coping mechanisms, is that we can do all of the things just by getting in tune with our spiritual, mental, and emotional bodies, by moving our body, by dancing, by jumping, by playing, by knocking out some push-ups. We can do anything. If you're feeling tired, instead of reaching out for a cup of coffee, do 20 push-ups, do some jumping jacks, dance, put on some music, sing a song. Holy shit, you can change your attitude and your energy so much by singing a song. I was singing this song the other day. I learned it, and I think I remembered a little bit of it. I don't know if I can get it right now, but we were singing it at this kirtan, this singing song circle, like a devotional singing song circle. Singing song circle, say that 10 times fast. You see how my energy is already changing with the coffee? 15 minutes in, caffeine's starting to really kick in. My language is changing. Super interesting. But I was singing this song, and it was like, gracias por la vida, thank you for life. And then it's, amaré I will love, cantaré, I will sing, sanaré, I will heal, y ayudaré, which is I will support or I will help. Gracias por la vida, gracias por la vida, un regalo para crecer. So thank you for this life. It is a gift in order to be able to evolve or to grow. Amaré, cantaré, sanaré, ayudaré. And just singing this over and over again, and I could feel my joy come up. I could feel my energy change. I felt joyful, I felt blissful, I felt happy, I felt excited and energized just by singing a song. Yeah, you can do that with a cup of coffee, and also this eventually is going to go away. I can sing the song 1,000 times in a day and I'm going to feel great. Never going to have a come down, never going to have a crash. But this cup of coffee will no doubt provide some type of physical crash, because the adenosine that has accumulated as my neurological receptors for adenosine have been blocked by the caffeine will eventually come crashing as the caffeine wears off, and then I'll probably feel that low. Most people chase it with another cup of coffee over and over again, a cycle that continues. I don't think I'll do that. I'll probably just take a nap on the shuttle as I ride my way back into my home down in Le Cativan. So this is interesting. What is your favorite way to change your state? Substance, a drink, smoke, sex, pornography. There's all kinds of ways to change your state. What's your favorite? What's your favorite? And then tell me which one is the one that's gotten you the most in trouble. And I'll answer those questions for you right now. What's my favorite way to change my state? Dancing, actually. Okay, I'm cheating a little bit. I'm going to tell you what my favorite substance is that I've used to change my state. Cacao. Lately, definitely cacao. Gets the heart pumping, theobromine, it's got some caffeine, so it's stimulating, but it gets the heart going. Interesting thing is, so caffeine actually takes 40% away of your mental production, like it takes 40% of your blood. It reduces the blood flow and circulation in your brain by 40%. But I like that when it's paired with theobromine, because the cacao is intentional. I'm using it to get into my heart. And that theobromine gets the heart beating, takes some of the blood away from the caffeine, taking the blood away from the brain, gets me more into my heart and less in my mind, easier to be in my heart space. That's my favorite thing to change my chemical state or to change my emotional state. The substance that's gotten me in the most trouble in the past, the most intense, but it was short-lived, was cocaine. That definitely got me into some trouble. Nobody knew about it. I hid it very well. I was quite a closet addict at that point in time. I was very good at hiding things. You never would have known. Maybe you would have known if you really knew what to look for, if you knew what to look for in the eyes during a certain time in the evening for me. But yeah, the one that's got me in the most trouble has to be by like length of time, quantity, and danger. Alcohol for sure. Alcohol. Changing my state with alcohol. I mean, I dedicated my life to alcohol for 20-something years. From the age of 16 until the age of 35, I basically drank most of the time, like most weeks, if not most days. And man, the blackouts or the bad decisions that I've made, yeah, alcohol's definitely got to take the winner on that one. So I'm just super curious if this is at all interesting for anybody who's watching. I mean, obviously I can watch the analytics and the statistics on YouTube, but I just find this to be such a curious, call this in German, you call this a Kaffeeklatsch. This is like a coffee chat. I wonder if this is interesting. I find it fascinating, but of course I'm also the one drinking the coffee. Hola, buenos días. ¿Ah?
¿Cómo está?
Bien, gracias.
¿Qué es lo que me necesita?
Ay, sabes, ahora estoy filmando algo y de hecho estoy bastante bien, gracias. Sí, que le vaya bien. The young gentleman offering me some, I don't know, snacks or something. Wasn't feeling it. Yeah, this is total flow. This is like flow state. This is just allowing the coffee to do its work, allowing the ambiance to do its work, and just allowing my consciousness to flow as I speak and speak and speak. Just see what happens. Aquí tomando un café guatemalteco, enjoying a nice Guatemalan coffee. Ah, yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm almost to the last drops here, and I'll tell you, I really like the way the coffee tastes now. Usually I like my coffee like hot. So I'm like really particular about them warming up the mugs beforehand, like really making sure that the temperature stays ideal. But I'll tell you, now that it's cooler, it's a bit softer, it's a bit smoother. I think that acid is a little bit brighter. It's a bit fresher, like it's more uplifting in the palate. I don't feel so weighed down like I was before. Before I really wanted some food with it. Now I'm chill. I like it the way it is. Interesting. I wonder. It's not like cold brew though. It's a very different energy. Super cool. Anything made with intention is beautiful, because like all of that intention, that conversation, talking about the beans, the passion of the guy who was making it, my excitement learning about these things, all poured into this delicious cup. And the water is the most highly programmable crystalline substance that exists on this planet, maybe possibly in all of creation. I don't know. And all of that intention, all that love, all that passion, all that curiosity, boom, programmed into this cup. Every little bit of intention and that focus was poured into this, and it actually programs and structures the water molecules in such a way that it carries that energy into my body, and here we are. That intention is beautiful. Imagine if you could do that with every cup of coffee you drink, or every glass of water you can even program with that kind of intention. Your food, your fruit, everything, like all of the stuff, the water is in pretty much everything, and it is programmable. That's why praying over your food is such a beautiful practice, because it programs the food with that energy of positivity, gratitude, love, consciousness, joy, alegría, passion. And then you eat it, and it becomes a part of you. And it informs all of the water around you, because as that water that is structured and highly informed, it charges and informs the water next to it, and it, like a ripple effect, dropping that rock into the pond, it ripples outward, and you become that ripple effect, and you ripple outward into the lives of all the others around you. Interesting where a cup of coffee can take us. Let me see if there's any last thoughts that want to come through before I wrap this up, because I'm like literally on the last drop. Intention. Let's just leave it with intention. Intention has been kind of the driving force of this conversation. The intention of the coffee, intention of growing the coffee, selecting the coffee, the intention of the method of preparation, using the Xara method, that ceramic process. The ceramic coffee preparer. It was really beautiful. Imagine if you could imbue intention into everything that you do. Imagine if you could imbue intention into every bit of work that you do, every conversation that you have, every hug that you give, every kiss that you give to your partner. If you could have that intention, and that intention programs the water and structures the water and all that you do, and you become that ripple that ripples outward, what could that do to your life? How could that change your life? How could it change the way you heal, the way you grow, the way you eat, the way you have sex? Intention. I believe, in fact, when I started my journey of alcohol-freeness, I committed to taking a year off, but I didn't do it because I wanted to stop drinking. I wanted to do it because I wanted to teach people how to drink better. I wanted to help them to drink with intention, to drink meditatively. It's so funny to notice how my speech pattern is changing right now with the caffeine like kicking in fully. Ooh, feeling a little buzzy. All right. But I intended only to take a year off so that I could change my relationship with alcohol, so I could help other people to learn how to drink well, so I could be a role model. And then after 19 days, I was like, shit, I'm never going back. I can't do it. And once I got rid of the poison from my system, my body didn't want to go back. Now, thinking about that, thinking about how everything in my life has transformed from that moment, because I shifted my relationship with a substance. I wanted to teach people how to meditate with wine, how to be present with the wine, how to be there so that they wouldn't need so much. In fact, I did 2 events where we did wine paired with jazz, the jazz that was inspired by the wine itself. As I guided my friend through a meditation while he tasted the wine, it inspired music. The music then inspired our clients, the guests, as they drank the wine, and they got to see how it interacted, how their bodies felt. And it was funny because I was incentivized, motivated to sell more wine during that event so I could make some money, so I could justify the time that I spent in that, because I wanted to do more of these events. But I didn't sell that much wine. I sold a ticket which included like 3 or 4 half glasses of wine, the equivalent of about 2 glasses of wine. And then one person, I think, bought another glass of wine. A couple people bought some bottles to go, but most people left having had a not that intoxicating dose of wine, because they were intoxicated by their consciousness, by their intention. The energy that was stimulated by them focusing on gratitude, by them being guided through these meditations that I helped them with. They got more from that than the wine and the intoxicating effect of the alcohol. And so that is to show you that you don't need that much. Cannabis, coffee, cacao, alcohol, whatever it is, if you have the intention. Next level from that is you don't actually need the substance itself, because you can do all those things with your body, with your breath, with your mind, with your thoughts. But that's next level. And I'd like to help you get there. So if you like this channel, if you like this experience, if you want to learn more about how you can transform your life, how you can get rid of your need for all of these addictive and sometimes damaging substances, so that you can live a life that is more authentic and true, so that you can live your true soul's blueprint, so you can learn who you came here to be and actually start to live it having more fun, more joy, more passion, more love, more sex, more money than ever before. Subscribe, follow the links, learn more, get on my newsletter, and hey, if you want to drop in deep, you want to rewire all that stuff that you've been dealing with, the baggage, the trauma, the addictions, the limitations, the lack of confidence, the whatever it is, I can help you with that. And it's faster than you ever could have imagined. It doesn't take years to change. It doesn't take decades of therapy. It takes minutes, hours. It takes intention and powerful tools and techniques, which I have been trained in because I find them so fascinating. And hey, maybe if you want to do it in person with me, right now I'm in Guatemala. Next, I don't know where I'm going to be, but why don't you come and visit me, and we'll do an even deeper transformation. We'll enjoy a nice cup of Guatemalan coffee or cacao, and then you can become a fucking Jedi, mastering your mind and your energy so that you can enjoy your life to the last drop. This is Christopher Armstrong. So excited to share whatever this has been. Looking forward to sharing more. Talk to you soon.